Big box. Big box. All right, so how's everybody doing? I got a big little present here for us to take a look at and unbox and see what's inside. So hope everybody's doing great. It's been about a week or something like that. But welcome to Unboxed Overload. But previously it was called Hardware Overload because my other channels was hacked. But luckily, thanks to YouTube, didn't really expect it, but they helped and I was able to get my channels back. So how it's going to work is that everything that comes in is going to be unboxed here. If it's something small or stupid, then of course I'm not going to do an unboxing for those. But if it's something big or something new, then I'm gonna unbox it here first, get like my first impressions, test it out a bit, and see how it is. And then later on, once I actually test it out a bit, do some benchmarks or whatever, then I'm going to do the full review on the main channels, which again going to be a hardware overload and a gaming overload, and later on like tech overload and whatever. So, but for now, we got this big boy from ASUS. As you guys can see, I'm gonna see what's inside. Now, previously, again, I did a review of the two other systems with the 7800 X3D from AMD and also the 14900K. But now we, of course, have some new... CPUs. Unfortunately, I don't have the AMD ones yet, but we do have our Intel system here, and we have a few nice goodies that's gonna go along with that. So a big shout out to ASUS for sending all of the stuff out here. I think the other one is in here. So you guys can see what's inside. Oh, that's tight. There we go. All right, let's just get this out of the way. But anyway, let's quickly just go over what we have here first. Got everything out now. So this is the ROG Maximus Z890 Hero motherboard, which we're going to take a look at. We have the ROG, I have to learn how to pronounce this, Ryujin 360 Extreme. So I did actually previously on the old channel, I think I did the review on the 3900K, I believe. I did the 2, or yeah, I think it was the 2, which was pretty cool, the screen and everything, and it actually performed really well. So I'm looking forward to testing this one out because apparently it has some nice upgrades and something new with the fans as well, which I'm really happy about. But we'll leave that for later. Let's quickly take a look at what's here first. So we have our little pouch here that has a performance thermal paste kit. So inside here we have some thermal paste. Underneath of that, we have, I believe this is a clean wipe. Then next we have, I'm honestly not sure what this is, maybe like a thermal paste sprayer, but that's all that I can really see. Another wipe. So we have that. Of course, we're going to test out the thermal paste, see how good it is for our extreme cooler and our CPU here. So underneath that, we actually have our CPUs. So let's quickly take a look what ASUS sent over. But of course, as you can imagine, we're not gonna go for the low end here. So we have the bit filthy, but anyway, the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K. That to the side here. Next up, we have our RAM, and I actually have, I believe, the exact same kit. So we have our Kingston Fury Renegade memory here. Let's quickly just see what the speeds are at and everything. Of course, DDR5 ready for our system. So these are... All right, so I can't really see what the speeds are for these. I believe maybe these are 8200 mega transfers, but on the back here, it's not really too clear. So once I actually have it in the system and everything, I'll just let you guys know, but we should have pretty fast memory here. All right, so let's quickly, before we take a look at the motherboard, which is going to be the main focus here, let's quickly just pop out the new Ryujin 360. We can really see somebody had some fun with the case, with the box here. I think we'll do it a bit neater. Oh, there we go. Woo! All right, so let's just pop it around. All right, so first up, we have our fans here, which is the other way around. All right, so apparently from the notes that I have, these are slightly bit thicker fans. I can actually feel that they are thicker. That's pretty nice. And then also they have increased static pressure and airflow between them. And the coolest thing is that, again, this is something that I missed for in my year that I didn't do any tech, is that they can actually daisy chain now. So you have a connector there. So let's really take out another one and see how we can connect them together. When you have 2 or 3, whoa, and it's magnetic as well. That's pretty cool. So it's actually able to stay like that. That's really nice. All right, so now we have 3 connected there. That's really, really cool. I'm actually really surprised how strong these magnets are. They do need quite a bit of force. I'm curious to see how they connect to the rest of the cooler here. So everything's just falling out. Ugh. All right, so here we have our bracket for the motherboard. So it works with all of the previous 14th generation, 13th generation boards, the Z790 and so on as well. So if you have a previous generation, you can still use this cooler for those. All right, I don't think we need to remove that. All right, so here is additional brackets for the back bracket. Just put that out of the way. And this seems to be where everything connects onto. All right, so I have the exact same 8 pins here and also magnets. Again, very strong. Just need to make sure that it's the right way around. You actually have a bit of a notch here and a opening there. There we go. All right, so now we can connect everything. And then you have these 2 connectors for your PWM fan and then also for your RGB, I believe. So that's really, really cool. All right, so for our pump here, apparently this is the 2nd generation for the pump. So the EMA Gen 8 V2 pump that delivers better flow rate and also lower impedance compared to the previous generation. And then also for the head here, you can actually remove this and you have a fan here as well, as you guys can see. So that as well helps with air to actually blow out here on the side. You have a little air vent there on both sides that actually helps cool the VRMs on your motherboard. So that is actually pretty nice as well. I'm not sure how big of a difference that makes, but any extra air on your VRMs, of course, will be beneficial. All right, so after a lot of struggling, I actually got the head back. It's just the cable that's inside is a bit annoying. But anyway, so this screen, it is a larger 3.5-inch display with a 6040 by 480 display resolution running at 60 Hertz. But if the previous one was only 30 Hertz, as this one is again now 60 Hertz. It's an LCD display, and of course, just like a majority of the other displays out there, you can display like a GIF on there, a video, an image. You can display your system information, temperatures, and all of that. But it is a pretty large display. I'm not sure if I've really seen any others that's as big as this one. So yeah, we'll see actually how it looks once we have everything in a system. But I'm really pleased with all of the daisy chain features now. Oh, this is going to be so helpful when I actually install these. So yeah, a big shout out to ASUS for making this possible, but I have seen that these are more common now. All right, so now we need to clean up a bit, get everything back in the box. Hopefully the right way around this time. All right, so now I can finally get into yes, this thing is heavy, to the motherboard. Again, the ROG Maximus Z890 Hero. Now, I don't believe I did a review on the Hero before. I believe I did on the, what was it? The Apex or something? But this is the 2nd top of the range board from ASUS. So yeah, it's not cheap, but if you want pretty much the best of the best, then, well, 2nd best apparently, then you have this one for all of your options. So, all right, so let's quickly take it out here, just get a first impression, and massive all black, just like the previous ones. I can't remember if I reviewed the Hero, the Z790 or Z790 Hero on the previous channel, but I have reviewed a bunch of other ASUS boards previously, so yeah, I'm pretty familiar with what's going on. But anyway, let's move that one to the side. Okay, check out what else is in here. I don't even know where to start. Let's get out Your stickers, bit of manual. Oh, this is actually pretty nice. So you can actually get your quick startup guide and explains where everything is, all of the connectors. I haven't seen that on another motherboard before. So if you're new, if you don't understand everything, it's pretty handy. I mean, we can even take a look at it later on when we take a look at all of the connectors. So this could actually be quite handy to keep around. All right, so just your average manual there. Down here we have just a little card. So we have our Wi-Fi antenna, M.2Q slider. We have some pads, bottle opener, pretty solid metal bottle opener. That's pretty nice. We have our front case connectors here. Another Q slider, M.2 latches here. Some more rubber pads, We have some thermal pads here as well for our M.2s. Nice that it's included. Some more rubber pads. Q slider. So for this, you can actually mount your fan above your DIMM slot, your RAM. So it actually keeps it nice and cool. Not sure how needed it really is, but you have that as an option. Some more pads, SATA cables, and then lastly, RGB extension cable, and this should be our USB drive. So yeah, you have a USB drive with all of your data for all of your drivers and everything. So that's also quite nice. I wonder what's the size of this thing. It's probably just like 8 gigs or something. Doesn't really say, but yeah, pretty nice that it is included. All right, so let's quickly get the board out here. And yeah, this thing is heavy. It's probably around like 2 kilos or something, kilograms, what, 4 pounds or whatever. So as you guys can see, just a massive board with a lot of aluminum for all of your cooling, across your M.2s here, for your VRMs, for your M.2 here, even down here for your M.2s as well. So across everything. Usually you just get thermal heat spreaders like across here, but now you get at the bottom as well. So that's pretty nice. Now, like I mentioned, this board isn't cheap. Currently, it is retailing for around $700 on Amazon, or around 15,000 Rand for here in South Africa. So it's even more expensive than the CPU. So just keep that in mind. But you are pretty much getting top of the range for the board here. So we'll go over quickly everything. Now, again, this is just our unboxing, and then later on I'm going to do the full review of all the benchmarks and thermals and everything on the main channel. Again, hardware overload, so check that in the description below. But anyway, let's quickly go over the board and see what we have here. So firstly, of course, we have our new socket here, the 18151 LGA socket. So it only works with the, it only supports the new Ultra CPUs, or Core Ultra CPUs from Intel. It doesn't fit the older 14th or 13th generation CPUs, but luckily the cooler mounting points are exactly the same as the previous generation. So you can use your old cooler on this board, and again, not have to buy a new one. But if you want to, you can again upgrade to something new and then also use it on your older generation if you wanted to. Now, we talked about the massive amount of heat spreader for our VRMs here. So quickly, for the VRMs, you get a 22 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 power stage. And I believe that's the largest one that I have reviewed so far. Usually it's just like a 20 plus 1 plus 1 or something. But this is, again, a massive. It's 110 amps and 90 amps plus 90 amps and 80 amps. But of course, if you're not really going to overclock, you can use ASUS's integrated AI overclocking. I can't exactly remember the name in the BIOS, but like usually just with one click, it'll automatically calculate all of the thermal headroom and power delivery and all of that to get a bit of an extra performance out, even above what the Intel CPU is currently doing on its own anyway, because what thermal boost or whatever. But with the AI boost feature, it actually takes that a step further. So I have tested it previously and it worked really well. It's not like a massive difference. It's like 1%, 2%, 3%, something like that, but it's extra performance for free. So we'll take a look at that in the full review. Now, anyway, let's quickly move on towards our DIMMs here. So you do have 4 DDR5 DIMM slots that support a maximum of 192 gigabytes and speed up to a whopping 9,200 mega transfers per second. I haven't used anything that fast yet, and again, I'm not exactly sure the speed of our current memory. Hopefully it's close to that, but you have plenty of headroom if you want to overclock your RAM to those speeds. But anyway, you do have a couple of extra features here as well. So you have their DimFlex AEP3, which is a ASUS enhanced memory profile, I believe, and then also Nitro Path, which is just the socket here is a bit different. Instead of the gold connectors going around, apparently the DIM here, it's a bit shorter. That reduces the latency between the connection. So I'm not sure how big of a difference it's really going to make, but I mean, if you go all the way now up to 9200 megahertz, any little extra is going to help. But now, if you are enjoying this unboxing so far, again, remember to like and subscribe and do all of that, because again, there's plenty more content to come. I already have a couple of keyboards down in the pipeline as well that I'm going to unbox. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff more, and then again on the main channels, so check those out. But now, anyway, moving on towards our PCI Express slots here, you do have 3 of them, with 2 of them being full size, but only one of them being a Gen 5 and full 16X, and then the bottom one for also longer, but that's only an X4, and then finally you have a little X1 here as well for any expansion cards or whatever you would need. Now, I'm looking around, but it looks like they actually removed the GPU quick release button. So in a few of the other boards, you had a button that you can press around just below the DIM slots here that actually has a cable towards the PCI Express slot here. If you have your massive GPU, you can't always put your finger in there, especially with your massive heat spreader here as well. And that really helped to actually get your GPU out, but it doesn't look like they have it here, so that's a bit unfortunate. You'll have to use like a screwdriver or something to get it between your top M.2 and your GPU, which is unfortunate. And if I'm missing anything, I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. But anyway, just the last thing is that both the top one and the bottom one does also feature a ASUS shield design, which just adds a bit extra support for the PCI Express slots for those super heavy GPUs, just so you don't actually bend your board or your PCI Express slots. All right, then moving on towards our M.2s here. I don't have my screwdriver with me at the moment, but you can just trust me on this. You do actually have a 6 M.2s squished in here, so there's plenty of storage, and it's only there's 2 of them being a Gen 5, the top one, and also one down here somewhere. All of the other ones are generation 4, and then also all of them do feature a ASUS Q latch design, so you can easily get your M.2 in and out without needing to use a screwdriver to actually and lose that tiny bloody screw. So that's actually nice. But it does also look like, the first time that I'm seeing this, is that the top M.2 with its massive heat spreader here, you actually have a quick release button here that actually disconnects the heat spreader from the M.2. So that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that yet, so I actually do like that quite a bit. I'm not exactly sure how this works here. Oh, it's like a latch that actually catches the M.2. Instead of the like slider that you had, now you actually have like a slider. Well, both are sliders, but this one actually slides across. So that's pretty cool if you guys can see that. So you can just slide it all the way closer if you wanted to, if you have a really small M.2. But yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I haven't seen that on other boards yet. So nice new feature, ASUS. And again, you have this massive Gen 5 M.2 heat spreader, which you're again going to need. Basically, you just put this back now. All right, so it slides in down there and then pops in and then choop, just like that. And then of course for your SATA port, you have 490 degrees here on the side. Again, this thing is heavy. I haven't really showed you guys the back, but yeah, that is the back with just a massive plate here, and also apparently it helps dissipate heat. So yeah, I wanted to make a joke that you're going to need like a very sturdy case as well, but for the price of the board, I would expect you to have a pretty solid case. So you're not going to have one of these flimsy, plasticky cases. So yeah, it should be fine. Now, something to mention just before we move on, it is worth knowing that the two Gen 5 M.2s, I'm not exactly sure where they sit now. One of them are here and one is there. They do actually share bandwidth with the top Gen 5 PCI Express slot as well. So if you use them, then the top slot is going to run at X8 speeds. So it shouldn't really be a problem, but just keep that in mind. So yeah, Now for I/O, you have your integrated I/O cover here, which is pretty standard nowadays. But anyway, you have your BIOS flashback button, your clear CMOS button, you have your HDMI, you have 2 Thunderbolt ports or USB 4 ports, which is actually pretty handy. You have your 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Gen 2, just stop there. 10 gigabit USB-A port. You have 2 Ethernet ports, one of them being 2.5 gigabits and one of them being 5. So that's also actually pretty handy. If you're a content creator or something and you work with a NAS and still want your local storage and everything, then that is actually very nice. You have 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1, I can't remember, 5 gigabits per second USB-A ports. You have another USB Type-C port, 10 gigabits, and then 2 additional USB-A 10 gigabit. I'm not going to even mention what generation USBs they are, but you have 2 of those as well. Then for your Wi-Fi, you have your Wi-Fi 7, and then also, I believe, Bluetooth 5.3 as well, and then your audio connections. So honestly, nothing really to complain about I/O here. I'm actually really impressed. 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, your 2 Ethernet ports, very, very nice. Now, I will say that I would have liked if there was like a 10 gigabit and a 2.5. That would have been very nice for like if you have a 10 gigabit network NAS and everything, would have been very nice. But yeah, all right, so now we can move on towards our on-board connectors, and this is where the quick start guide would come in handy. I think I should be okay, but anyway, we'll just keep it here on the side. So firstly, you have your 2 8-pin CPU power connectors, you have your 24-pin motherboard power, and you do also have a 8-pin PCI Express power, which we'll go over. But still up here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 PWM fan headers. Just going to go over the rest of the fan headers as well. You don't have any around here or at the back here. Then you have additional one over here at the bottom, and then 3 more. So you have what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 PWM fan headers between your pump and your cooler and all of that. Now, continuing up here, you have your Q code, you have your Q LEDs down there as well. You have your 5-volt addressable RGB header, so 1 there, 2 down here, so 3 in a total. You have your start button, your flex key button as well. You have now your USB, your 20 gigabit USB Type-C ports here as well. I just want to check if it's both of them. So the top one is 20 gigs and the bottom one is 10 gigabits per second. But this is where the PCI Express power comes into play, because it actually supplies additional power towards the 20 gigabits per second Type-C port here, header. Port does feature a power delivery. It's 60 watts, but if you don't add additional power, it only runs at 27 watts. So 60 watts, 27 watts, it depends on if you actually need it, but yeah, you do have that as a feature as well. You just have to add additional cable. Down here you have additional USB 3.2 3.2 header as well, so 4 of them for you. You have your, I can't remember what you call this, slim SAS. You have a slim SAS connector as well. I honestly have never used that before, so I'm not exactly sure what it is. I haven't even seen it on other boards even, so I'll read up about that one for the full review, but you have that on the side here. So you do have your reset button down here as well. You have additional additional USB 5 gigabits per second, 8 ports here as well. And then lastly, a Thunderbolt header here as well. And then you have an alternative PCI Express mode switcher as well that I haven't used before, but you do have that. But now that is pretty much it for my unboxing of the Ryzen 360mm AIO. You have your M.2s here, your RAM slots, you have your Ultra 9 285K CPU, which I'm just going to leave there for now. And then of course your hefty motherboard here as well. Just the lights, that's better. So yeah, shout out to ASUS South Africa for sending everything over for our review. So I'm looking forward to testing everything out. I'm just gonna leave that here. I don't want to drop that because it's heavy. So yeah, getting everything ready for a review to see how everything performs, and if any of these are actually worth getting for your new system. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I do again hope you guys enjoyed this little unboxing video. Again, there's plenty more to come. Again, even more keyboards down the pipeline as well. So a lot of stuff to come on this channel, and then also on the main channels, Gaming Overload and also Hardware Overload. So again, check them in the description below. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. And I'll check all of you guys next time. Cheers, guys.